Hello everyone and welcome to my look at the original Die Hard. I've been wanting to do this for a long time since my favorite Christmas tradition says I was 13, so let's open it up. We open on John McClane, played Bruce Willis, landing on a plane from a plane trip from LA to LA from New York. His ex-wife Holly, played by Honey Badella. He's then taken to an Armatomi building by a teenage drug named Argyle, played by Deborah White. As he plays Run DMC's Christmas in Halls on car stereo, it's clear that he's carried along the technology. No one better than I, John being honored playing guest costing 74 cents for a gallon regular. This movie's way of saying hello time travel welcome to 1988. While Holly does have a very nice Rolex watch, she also has a contaminated scummy 80s executive named Harry Ellis, played by Hart Bachner. McClane reluctantly decides to stay the night in the tower, just a bunch of terrorists invade the building by posing as guests for Nakatomi's party on Christmas Eve. I mean, no disrespect to A Christmas Story, sometimes I just want to watch an action movie that takes place during Christmas. McClane tries to deal with his jet lag from the trip, though a fellow passenger suggested a walk barefoot on a rug and make fish with toast would affect more as one, especially given what's about to happen. The terrorists are led by Hans Gruber, played by the great Alan Rickman's first film role. He had mostly done on stage before this movie, and his rendition film was perfect here. At that time, it was actually a risky move to spend $28 million on a movie based on a relatively unknown work and have actors not knowingly associated with action films. I can tell you that kind of reception is unthinkable now. Gruber confronts Joseph Takagi, played by James Shigeta, about the $600 million worth of bearer bonds building his vault. He's man trying to break in, but things will make it easier for Takagi using the code. Takagi refuses, saying he'll just have to kill him, which Hans does without hesitation. Not only does this show how intimidating he is as a villain, but also demonstrates Rickman's range as an actor. While he may be gone, much like his role as Seventh Snape in the Harry Potter films, his legacy will last forever. While Carl, played by Alexander Godunov, and his brother Heinrich, played by Gary Roberts, survey the perimeter, Theo, played by Clarence Gillier, sits by breaking the code in the vault. John, however, kills Heinrich, and even though he laments his shoes are too small for him, he does leave him waiting down the elevator. Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho. This film also makes great use of its sets, which Fox making they owned and made it easier to work with. Without having mixed feelings towards Jan de Bont making his own films, I can't deny he was a great choice as a cinematographer. Anyway, Carlos outraged his brother was killed by John, but Talon tells him they can't alter the plan no matter what. The later films showed John surviving a situation to kill most people. Here, his simple archetype of a flawed but reliable police officer behaves like one would expect in this scenario. Especially love his response when he's on the emergency lines. No fucking shit, lady. Do I sound like ordering a pizza? The script was co-written by Jeb Stewart and frequent action writer Stephen E. D'Souza. Definitely captured the atmosphere of the setting perfectly. I'll get in the sequels in the near future, especially with more films in development. Also, the shootout on the table is a scene that caused Bruce Willis permanently lose hearing in his left ear. Anyway, emergency services sends an LAPD officer named Sergeant Al Powell, played by Reginald Vale Johnson, to check out the Nakatomi Plaza. The scenario is confirmed when he's greeted by gunshots that dead terrorists crashing into his cruiser. I must also note for how John and Sergeant Powell just being regular beat cops is a perfect contrast to villains being and fine people with expensive suits and quoting Alexander Great during their heist. It's already topical in 1988, given how the cynicism of that decade's success was coming to a head, so it'll become quite relevant again for obvious reasons. Further proof is Powell being reluctant to use a weapon on someone, just to kill a kid with a had toy gun and regretted it deeply. This is essentially his arc in this movie. You know, as rookie to teach everything about being a cop who said how to live with a mistake. We also get the introduction of a trained news reporter named Richard Thornburg, played by William Atherton. Much like his other roles, such as Walter Peck in Ghostbusters, he's great at playing love-decay characters. His anger, Harvey Johnson, seems to be evading the pale takeoff on Bill O'Reilly, who actually isn't that different from the real thing. The LAPD tries to create a perimeter around the building to get inside with a SWAT team, but they're randomly destroyed by a rocket launch. Most of the others are like, "Oh my god, the quarterback is toast." John then drops a C4 grab from one of the other terrorists, takes up most of the munitions cache while as part of the building. Deputy Chief Robinson, played by Paul Gleason, tries to chastise John for his actions, which all have none of it. He tells him bluntly, much like the other officers, "I'm not the one that just got butt-fucked on national TV." Speaking of casual ES dealings, Haynes, Ellis decides to do the one thing you generally shouldn't, negotiate with terrorists. It's another case of a love-to-hate character, as behavior is not merely caused by the coke that's a soft drink. His plan to sell out Gruber to Huber backfires predictably when John doesn't know who he is. I'm not the biggest fan of the asshole victim trope, this is an effective use of it. Dispose of an unlikable character with no negative impact on the plot or you as a viewer. Hans then presents the LAPD with an ultimatum. He'll release the hostages in the building if the feds release his Alex from prison and get him a charge to LAX within 2 hours. He also orders Carl to find John and retrieve the stolen detonators from earlier. Also, these scenes of this pop psychologist may be subconsciously why I'm not a fan of it. A problem with stalking this girl leaves to know who charged a nickel by the sidewalk. Just don't play football with her. Hans tries to pose one of the hostages, but naturally John doesn't fall for it. Doesn't have that fake American accent, sounds like the rich Texan on The Simpsons. The ensuing shooting on the office is one of the best scenes of the film. Not just in terms of gunplay and editing, but also because of John's barefoot action becoming a plot point. The medical work in the bathroom is Podiatrist's nightmare. I also find it odd how the NES game tie and gave you a feed their own life meter. It was usually creative mechanic, but they didn't really implement it all that well, to be honest. I digress. The vault is cracked open on Gruber, who starts taking the bonds as the FBI agrees to Gruber's demands. The film begins as David Moon as John's family exposed on the roof is confronted by Carlo's brother's death. While that John is able to get out, this plan is double-crossed before Gruber starts hurting the hostages upstairs, especially when he finds out Holly is John's ex-wife. The final battle on top of the Nakatomi building has multiple tiers. Trying to evacuate the hostages, confronting Hans, rescuing Holly, trying to prevent the terrorists from escaping, and John takes a leap of faith out of the building as Gruber detonates the explosives, or using fire hose as it makes a grappling hook. Well, given how this is already gone, I might as well say it. I'm John McClane, and welcome to Jackass. Our guy leaving lends a hand, helping stop a terrorist from escaping by ramming into a stolen ambulance and punching out Theo. Now, the final confrontation with him takes between Hans and John, with John pulling a hidden gun to his back with wrapping paper. Holly is able to send Hans falling to his doom by unlatching her Rolex. It also turns out the reason why Hans looks so shocked is because they dropped him on the count of 2 instead of 3 they had planned, which Rickard wasn't happy about after filming wrapped. So, John and Holly reconcile as Christmas comes. Holly decks Thornberg trying to exploit what happened, and Powell is able to take out Carl with 2 workplace shots to crash road to a classic rendition of Let It Snow. Yippee-ki-yay! While I found something to enjoy in almost all these movies, the first one was my favorite installment and my favorite Christmas tradition ever since I turned 13. Even though many doubt the film will work, it proved to be one of the archetypal action films of its time, spawning the Die Hard and X premise and solidifying Bruce Willis as an action star for almost 30 years since it came out. It also made $83 million domestically and over $140 million worldwide on its $28 million budget, putting it among the most successful films in 1988. Probably look at the sequels in the near future, but it won't be until 2018. Still have plenty to before the year's out. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker! Fire rating 4 out of 4. We are now halfway through this marathon of mine, so check back soon with what I have in store next. Bang.